Hi, my name is George Snyder, and we're here today at the Woodcraft wood shop. I'm going to show off a new material that we brought to the stores. While doing some research for some materials for outdoor furniture, I stumbled upon a company that makes cutting board stock. The beauty of this cutting board stock is that it's perfect for your home, but you can use all of your woodworking tools to make things out of it. Today what we're going to do is use some of our tools here in the shop and make not just a standard cutting board, but a decorative one for the holidays. The first step is to decide what you're going to make. And so I made one pattern for a Christmas tree, 4-leaf clover, shamrock, jalapeno pepper for Cinco de Mayo, and a stocking for the holidays. So you're going to see me use templates from different patterns today as we go through the process. We're going to, at the end, hopefully have a stocking for the holidays. I've laid out some cardboard, so the spray adhesive, this is a weld bond spray adhesive. I'm going to spray the material and the pattern because I'm looking for a permanent bond. If you just spray one side, if you were looking for just a temporary bond. All right. You can use MDF. This happens to be a 1/2-inch MDF, or you could use like a Baltic birch or finished birch plywood as your substrate. I try to stay away from the hardboard. It's too thin, and some complications when you're using the pattern bit. So pretty straightforward. You just spray this on. Make sure you get a good coat. Once that's on, typically you want to wait a couple minutes, but for the sake of TV and video, I'm going to place this on there now. But you wait till it gets a little bit tacky, and you place it on. There's really no magic to this. And you squeeze out any air bubbles. Let that sit and dry. And you've got a permanent bond and a perfect template. The next step is going to be, once this is dried, we're going to go scroll saw this pattern out so that we can use it with a router. Another option, besides spraying and putting a paper pattern on your template material, is to use another object or another template, and you can make your own. So in this case, just we're interested in making a stocking today. So I've taken this, I've marked out on plywood in this instance, and we're going to cut that out on the scroll saw. Cut the pattern down to more manageable size, and I'm now ready to scroll saw using in this case we're using an Excalibur scroll saw by General International. Once we've scrolled out our template, the next step is to come to the spindle sander. In this case, it's a Triton spindle sander that's available at Woodcraft. And if you've got any sharp edges or not so smooth transitions, you're going to want to touch them up here with the sander. So I've got a little spot here that I definitely need to clean up before we go any further. We've glued the pattern down to our material, we've scroll sawed it out, we've sanded it smooth. Now we're going to mark our pattern on our blank stock. This will allow us to cut the material so that it's easier to route. So I'm going to mark this out. I'm going to go to the bandsaw and I'm going to clean this up as much as possible so that it's easier to route. The key to this is to try to bandsaw maybe within a 1/4 inch of the line, so that when we use our router, it's taking off as little material as possible, but still giving us a smooth edge. So to the bandsaw. We're at the Jet 14-inch bandsaw right now. I've got a pretty thin blade, maybe a 3/8. I'm going to make a couple quick passes to get rid of the bulk of the material, just so this is easier to handle. Now I'm going to try to cut a little bit closer to the line and make that, again, this routing project a little bit easier. You can see by the cutting how simple this is to cut and how easy the blade slices through this material. There's no grab back or anything. There's no melding of the material, but you need to be careful because it does cut faster than you might on a typical wood project. You can see by my cuts, they don't have to be perfect. I'm just a hair over the line, and I'll probably come back and clean this up just a little bit more, just to get closer, because again, on the next part, you'll see how that makes it simpler. Now that the bandsaw work is done, we're going to take this over to the workbench so that we can do the final forming with the router. What's going to happen is I'm going to use double stick tape, again available at your local Woodcraft store, tape down our template to our stock material that I've cut out close to the line. Then I'm going to route. At the end you should have a duplicate of your template. This process is perfect for all kinds of woodworking activities that you want to duplicate. I want to adhere my template to my stock material with double stick tape. You do not need a lot of this. You may get nervous and think that you need more, but you don't. It works exactly what it's supposed to. A couple pieces is plenty, and you'll know if you put too much because it's a pain to take back off. A good knife is the best way to peel this off. I'm using my Sarge knife, available again at your local Woodcraft store. Take a second to place this on there so that you're centered on your template. Again, you're going to have a little bit of overhang all the way around. When you're sure you've got it, drop it down, a little bit of pressure, and you're good to go. You're not going to be putting a lot of force on this, so again, plenty of tape. The next step, which I did off camera, is place a pattern bit into our Porter cable compact router. This is a 1/4 inch shank router bit with a bearing near the shank. The bit is 1 inch long. My material is a 1/2 inch thick, and my template I think is 3/8. So my bit is going to overhang my pattern cut. So I'm going to do it off the edge of the table. As you run that bearing against your template, and that cleans up the rest of the stock material, again giving you a perfect shape every time. So now we're getting ready to route. I have my template double stick taped to my cutting board stock. I've got a pattern bit in there with the bearing. I'm going to push that up against the template. With a firm grip, I'm going to go counterclockwise around my template. While you're routing along on a workbench, it's good to always have one of these router mats. It's great for gripping the template, nothing's moving around. Once we're finished routing with the pattern bit, then we're going to pull the template apart. Again, less tape, the better. Porter cable compact router, I have a 1/4 inch round over with a bearing that'll just run against here and soften the edge. Before I try it on there, I typically try it on a practice piece just to make sure that I have the right round over and not taking too much or too little material. I've adjusted it so that the radius just ends at the base of the router, so I don't get a bead. Otherwise you'd get a bead on here. I'm seeing a little bit of fuzz right there on the edge, so I'm going to tweak this up just a hair. And we should be good to go. I'm going to do another quick test. That's perfect. So now I'm going to go around the pattern twice. Let your imagination be as creative as possible. With this cutting board material, you can do almost anything. We tried putting together two chili peppers. We put two pieces of the material together, scroll sawed this pattern. That allowed us to fit the alternating colors together like a puzzle. Lots of other options. We did a Christmas tree, of course the stocking, and your traditional cutting boards. Any shape, size that you want. It's available in 2 by 2 1/2 inch thick stock at your local Woodcraft store or online. Item numbers 153019 to 153021. Thank you for watching.